Hey everybody, I'm Sam.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Will.
And we are Working Title.
I gotta write the names down.
I just have to murder massive amounts of people real quick.
Imagine their faces as well.
Guys, we are back. It is Death Note Episode 2.
I got this one, Sam. Confrontation.
Last on, boys. Give me the rundown.
Our boy, Light Yagami, stumbled upon the holy Death Note dropped by Ryuk, and he very quickly figured out that you can use the Death Note to kill people. And he took it upon himself to kill all of the major criminals within Japan, I'm assuming. I don't know if he said worldwide or Japan, but a lot of people. Yeah. And within a week, he had already killed like over 500.
Jesus Lord.
And so Ryuk pulled up and said, "This is gonna be interesting."
Yeah.
He said, "Damn, bro, this is wild."
So y'all, if you made it to this point, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content and you want to see more Death Note in the future. Check out the Patreon because there will be early access for this show. Check out some of the other content we have going on. I'm pretty sure Full Metal's wrapping up. We're going to be jumping into some other live action shows that you might enjoy. And support this show on Netflix or any other streaming service you can find it on. And then come back and support your boys. We're going to punch it. Pow!
The human whose name is written in this notebook shall die.
I love that.
Shut up.
Now, what will happen? And I will become the god of this new world.
Oh God. I forgot he said that.
More names.
Having finally made his dream a reality, he was overwhelmed, both by the magnitude of his achievement and by the joy and happiness that it brought him.
That was very well done. But I'm not surprised, of course. Absolutely flawless. Very good.
Hop off his meat, bro.
Oh God!
What you writing?
Hey, what's up, Light? We were just gonna head down.
Sorry, I'm a little busy today.
You don't have anything to do. Aren't you just gonna go home and hang out in your room as usual?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Of course I have something to do. Yes.
Murder.
Very important.
Avenge.
Justice.
Why are you working so hard?
I can't afford to waste any time. I have a very small window to write names in this notebook. I only have from when I get home from school until I go to bed. I still need to sleep so I can maintain my average.
Bruh, what the?
Class. Obviously, I can't be sleeping
What?
in class. Plus, there's all the studying at home and at cram school. I can't let myself.
He can do this forever. Like he doesn't need to run.
No, Will, you don't understand. It's very important.
Ideal world is free
From 5 to 9.
I need to make the most of my time.
He's doing a part-time job of killing people.
There have been 52 deaths that we're aware of, and that's just in the past week. Every single one of them.
King Bradley.
Investigating a series of heart attacks is pointless. I don't see what else we can learn. Absolutely. If these people have been shot or stabbed, at least we have something to go on.
If that's the case, it looks as if we'll have no choice but to bring in now.
What? There's no way this guy works for Interpol. There's no way.
If he does, that's
What's this
psychotic.
Elder talking about?
Is he gonna skitter in here
I
on the
forgot
walls?
this is your first time at this conference. We don't know El's real name or whereabouts. In fact, we still don't even know what he looks like. However, he's managed to solve every case he's ever taken on. And he's tackled some of the greatest mysteries this world has ever known. He hides in the shadows, but he's the best of the best. A last resort, our trump card.
Hell is already on the move.
He's right here.
Alright, Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, El has already begun his investigation into these incidents.
What? Huh? Who's that?
That man's the only known person who can contact El. Nobody knows his true identity either.
Okay.
Greetings to all of you at the ICPM. I am El. What are we doing here anyway? I don't understand why we're sneaking around this dump. Tell me.
Isn't it obvious? You told me that anyone who touches the Death Note will be able to see you. I could tell them I was keeping records of various criminals in preparation for becoming a detective one day. But I'm walking a very fine line right now.
Yeah. I mean, it
I don't
makes
want to
sense.
think about it, but if I make one mistake, I might end up killing my own family.
You need to make the decision to fully support the investigation at this meeting. Also, I require additional cooperation from Japan's National Police Agency.
What? Why Japan in particular?
I think I'll be able to provide you with proof of that after I directly confront the culprit.
A direct confrontation?
That guy's last name was Yagami. Is that
Yeah,
Yagami's
I was about to
dad?
say.
Or Light's
That
dad?
was easier to make than I thought it'd be.
Weird.
Does that mean you were able to hide the notebook?
Yeah, I hid it right here in this drawer. I intentionally left the key in the most noticeable place I could think of.
Reverse psychology.
Isn't that just a regular diary?
That's what it is. I'm guessing that once most people find the diary inside my desk, that'll probably satisfy their curiosity. But the real key, a regular ballpoint pen. And all I need is this part. If you look closely, you'll find that there's a small hole underneath the drawer.
Yeah, makes sense.
Then you just insert this.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Ah, a fake bottom.
Yeah.
The diary will distract most people, so I doubt anyone will find it.
But that's not all. Even if someone figures out that there's a fake base, I've set things up so that there's no way they could get their hands on the notebook. You see, once the ink reservoir is inserted, it acts as an insulator, preventing the flow of electricity around this circuit. When the fake base of the drawer is put back, this piece of rubber also prevents the flow of electricity. However, if someone were to try and force the bottom of the drawer open, the circuit would connect, and that would ignite the gasoline contained in this thin plastic casing, instantly setting the notebook on fire.
Smart.
The way I've got it set up, all the evidence will be completely
Literal
destroyed.
psycho.
How did he?
If I'm ever questioned,
don't
I'll
know.
just say that I was hiding the
What?
real diary because I didn't want anyone to see it.
You're probably the first to have given it this much thought.
Yep.
Though it's a pretty risky setup from the look of it.
Risky? You say the strangest things sometimes, Ayuk. This whole thing has been a risk since the very beginning,
Yeah.
from the moment I obtained the death
Seriously.
note. It all comes down to a choice. Would I prefer to be executed or deal with a little house fire?
I mean, okay. How did he just make a little bomb or whatever?
I mean, he's the smartest kid in Japan. It doesn't surprise me that he would have been able to figure that out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
L. Man. I wish I didn't know that was L.
It makes it way funnier that they trust this guy. Because I would not trust whatever he is. I'd be like, get away from me.
Freaking creature.
This is unbelievable. Criminals are dropping like flies lately.
It's a little scary, but at the same time, it's good. The police don't have that kind of power. Don't you know about him?
Who? About who?
Kira. You know, Kira.
I wonder who's going to be killed next.
What? Kira kill everyone.
What?
Ryuk, you should check this out.
Huh? The legend of Kira the Savior.
Yeah, I think they've taken the name Kira from the English word killer. Can't say I'm too happy about that, but it looks like that's the name they decided to give me.
Interesting.
When I search the word Kira, the people of the world can already sense that there's something happening. They know there's someone out there passing righteous judgment.
Oh?
Human beings are like that, Ryuk. Although this would probably never happen in school, let's say that students were asked to discuss whether bad people deserve to die. Well, you can bet that everyone would give the politically correct answer.
It's just wrong to kill people.
That's what they're bound to say. Of course, that's the correct response to give, right?
I love this kind of stuff, man.
This is how they really feel. Most are too afraid to support me as they're worried about what others will think.
Yeah.
Many would rather deny my existence. But on the internet, where you can remain anonymous, support for Kira is growing.
Redditors unite.
This is all your guys'
We all understand what's
And yet, the first episode, we publicly displayed that we had killed people.
Those who have done no wrong are cheering for Kira in their hearts because they have nothing to fear. While those
This is
who
the
have done
Reddit
wrong
show.
are on the run. It's perfect. Everything is going just like I planned.
The God amongst men.
We
I am
want to apologize for the
Cult
interruption.
Kira.
As of now, we're bringing you a live worldwide broadcast from Interpol's ICPO.
What's this?
Oh, we have okay. We now take you live to the ICPO. I head up an international police task force which includes all member nations. I am Lind L. Taylor.
otherwise known as L.
Who is this guy?
So this is how it all begins.
But sir, I don't get it. He's never actually shown his face before, right? Why would he choose to do it now?
It must mean L's serious about this. L, we followed every single one of your orders. Now it's time for you to prove what you said to the ICPO.
Oh, is he gonna try to get him to kill him?
That's what I was thinking.
Criminals around the world are being murdered by a
Face
serial
and
killer.
name.
I consider this crime to be the most atrocious act of murder in history. I will not rest until a person or persons responsible are brought to justice. Kira, I will hunt you down. I will find you.
He seems certain he'll catch you.
Talking shit.
This is episode 2.
He'll never find me. He'll have to get this first. And as long as the police don't find it, there won't be any evidence to convict me. Which means that catching me will be absolutely impossible.
Kira, I've got a pretty good idea what your motivation might be, and I can guess what you hope to achieve. However, what you're doing right now is evil.
Damn.
You think
at your core.
He smiles on camera too.
He knows what kind of a dude he's dealing with already.
Everyone desires. All those who oppose that god, they are the ones who are truly evil.
The ego.
See?
Guess you're just too stupid, L. Too bad. This could have been a lot more interesting if you'd only been a bit smarter.
Oh, so he's screaming all of this shit in his family home with his parents.
Are you alright, Light?
It's like, dude, why do you keep saying you're doing crimes? Why do you write it so big?
He's like, you deserve all these lives.
I'll show the world what happens when you cross me. The entire world is watching. L.
Accidentally spells it wrong.
Lindell.
Took up so much
5
space.
more seconds.
Wasted a half a page.
3.
Why is he just staring?
1.
Bro.
And now you've killed an Interpol
You got nothing
agent.
else to say?
It's the real L's gonna appear.
Yes. Pranked you. It's letter L.
I had to test this just in case, but I never thought it would actually happen.
You got played idiot.
It seems you can kill people without having to be there in person. I wouldn't have believed it.
So dumb.
Listen to me, Kira. If you did indeed kill Lynn L. Taylor, the man you just saw die on television, I shall tell you that he was an inmate whose execution was scheduled for today. That was not me.
What?
That was not
The
me.
police arrested him in absolute secrecy, so you wouldn't have heard about him on TV or through the internet. It appears that not even you have access to information about these types of criminals.
That's so smart, man.
He got you then.
But I assure you, L is real. I do exist. Now, try to kill me.
You bastard.
What's wrong?
What the hell is going on? He's even taking this too far. Are you
Bullshit.
L versus Kira. I love it.
So there are some people you can't kill.
Ooh.
You've given me a useful hint.
Let me return the favor. I'll tell you something that I think you'll find interesting. Although this was announced as a worldwide broadcast, the truth is,
It's only in
we are
Japan.
only broadcasting in the Kanto region of Japan.
Oh my god, he just narrowed it down.
Of all the criminals that initially died of heart attacks, this one's crime was by far the least serious. Furthermore, his crime was only ever reported inside Japan.
I used that information.
That's
to
how he
deduce
figured
this.
it out. Okay. That's what I was wondering.
And your first victim was little more than an experiment. It won't be too long now before I am able to sentence you to death.
L has certainly lived up to his reputation.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Naturally, I'm very interested to know how you're able to commit these murders without being present. But I don't mind waiting a little bit longer.
You can answer all of my questions when I catch you.
Let's meet again soon.
Damn.
Wow.
L's got an ego
Dude,
as well.
what a fucking genius.
He got a big fucking ego.
What a genius.
I'm going to catch you, and then you can answer my questions.
Really? He's going to sentence me to death? Sounds interesting. I accept your challenge, L.
Ryuk's like, this is some good shit, dude.
Down the other without knowing the
Ryuk is just the audience.
Yeah.
Bruce Buddy's identity is revealed.
I didn't realize he had the Vegeta haircut, too.
Humans are
Yeah.
so much fun.
So much fun.
I will hunt you down wherever you're hiding, and I will eliminate you. I am justice.
Batman.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
There are 2 Batmans in Japan.
And they're both egomaniacs. I am vengeance. I am the knight. I am Kira.
El Justice.
Episode 2 of Death Note, y'all.
Twosies.
And you know what's cool about like that exchange right there is like even though like Caleb and I already know who L is,
yeah.
Which I guess if we already knew, it kind of even alluded more to like even though I was able to figure out like very quickly, like right before Caleb had said, "Oh, he's showing the face and the name, so he'll draw out the killer to kill the kill the guy." I already had thought the same thing in my head too. Like 10 seconds before he did, I'm like, "Oh, this is just baiting the kill," because we know that's not L.
Yeah.
But even if it was L and he was just like willing to like put his life on the line for it, like it still was like a smart chess move. Right?
Oh, for sure, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like he's just set the pace for like what will now transpire in this show.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was curious because if you've ever seen T-shirts or like a poster for Death Note at like a Zoomies or whatever, like you'll generally see Light or L. So I was curious, like, do they remember the face of L in the moment? And even when I was watching, I couldn't tell because I didn't want to like look at you guys or like allude to anything. I was like, this guy kinda, like the inmate kinda looked like L in a weird fashion. So I wasn't sure, like, did it hold any weight? Did you know immediately that it wasn't L? Did you kind of wonder maybe it's an animation choice, maybe it's L and I'm just not remembering it right?
I mean, to me, he did actually a little bit look like L because we see L in the intro. Granted, we know that's L in the intro.
Yeah.
I've seen L from like people's profile pictures and like memes and like you know what I mean, just like him like sitting up in the chair with his feet on on the chair. So it's like I already knew what he looked like, but that guy, I mean, like if you would have told me that's L's brother, I would have been like, oh yeah,
makes sense.
That makes sense. But yeah, like I mean, that's the thing though. Regardless, that's the good thing about good stories. Is even if you get like spoiled on something, for the most part, as long as it's not something that's like super, like I don't know, it was something that was like a major flip that you wouldn't know going into it. Think of any story that you could think of that has something like that. Like if you know going into it, it kind of takes off like the excitement from it a little bit. Or if it's something that you're expecting all season to happen, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, well that kind of ruins it for me. But this was done so well that it's like I still enjoy it at that point.
It was still like a new experience.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I like to know, like I know we talked briefly about it in our first episode, but I always thought that I knew that the story would have been some type of like Light killing people type of thing, and I was always under the impression that he was like an actual detective, you know what I mean, and I thought that L would have been like a high school student. Now we still don't know much about L except that he looks weird, so I always thought it would be like kind of reversed where like Light is a high school student that's killing people, and L is like a detective going out there to like try and figure it out. Even though we know what he looks like, he's very not detective. But
I think this is a very fun and unique. I like that. Surprisingly, I do like that you guys know things about the show, but to like the extent that you're saying. And for any new people that are going to be tuning into the show, like they will have seen the obvious faces that you would see in any form of merchandise. But the way that this show is set up, like you're saying, there's going to be still a fun journey to figure out the rest of the puzzle pieces.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it's like you only know the players that are going to be facing off against each other at the end of the day. You don't know how it's really going to play out.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, and even, like, other than, like, to me, at this point, we've already hit everything that I know in 2 episodes. And, like, all I know is that Light kills people, L is trying to figure him out, what L looks like, and that there's a Death Note, and Ryuk is some type of, like, Grim Repress type of person. Like, I have no idea where the show is going to progress to. And I already feel, funny enough, I already feel like I don't know where we're going to go from here, because he went from narrowing down, or he went from every, like, major police force in the world debating over what to do, whether this was murder or not, and trying to figure out where this guy was, and he already figured it out, like, instantaneously.
He went from, okay, isolated in Japan, because he stopped a crime in Japan. Okay.
It was only broadcasted in this area for a short time.
Yeah, for a short period of time before he died. So he must have been watching the news in Japan.
In this district.
And this district happens to have a really big population. So let's just try here first. Oh shit, wait, you're actually here? Sick. Alright, now I know where you are.
Well, it wasn't even that I was just trying here, though. It was that news story took place in his area, and that news story was only around long enough to broadcast in his area.
Oh, yeah.
Because the guy didn't commit a major crime. I mean, he was holding a place hostage. It was a bank robbery or something, right?
School?
Yeah, or school. Like, he was holding the school hostage for whatever reason. But it wasn't like a Bonnie and Clyde or, like, some type of, like... It wasn't a huge thing to where it was a national news or international news. Yeah. So because it was so isolated, like, imagine it would be like, local liquor store down the road from Sam's house is being held at gunpoint right now, and it's an active shoot-off with police.
Yeah.
If that's the first instance of this, then it's easy to... Like, it would be easy to be like, it's where Sam lives, like, this area right here. Like, out of the, the 20,000 or 100,000 people that live in this area, it's got to be one person in this.
Within 5 minutes of the broadcast starting, he's already dead somehow.
That's pretty crazy. I personally have never really watched any, like, detective or, like, crime shows. Like, this was probably one of the first things ever, other than the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock show, where I ever really watched any crime. Like, my sister watched CSI, but I never was really privy to that. But when you were just talking about that school thing, I was thinking to myself, like, why would Elle pick up on that? And then I guess, like, I don't know how hunters of serial killers go about learning about things, but maybe it's the isolated incident of, wow, he had a heart attack. And then you just, like, that's a crazy thing. And then later people are just dropping of heart attacks, and it's like, okay, there's a lineup. Maybe we can track it back to this very weird isolated incident that... And I don't know the time span between this and the past episode, because it seems like there's been some time. Because the dude's been going to work as a second-time job, killing people.
From 5 to 9.
I'll just say my only this is like the first time, when I watched this back in 2017, my first memory I have remembering this show, I thought Elle was going to be like that guy. I genuinely, when I first watched this, I thought it was going to be that guy.
He was going to get worked really quick.
I didn't know anything about the show. I thought he was going to be like this talked up guy that's just like showing how powerful light is. That even the best criminal is just going to be like useless to light, and it's going to be a one-way match. So I remember being pretty blown away when not only was he played, but condensed from the world to a single area in Japan. And I was like, this is episode 2. How are they supposed to have so many other episodes? I know you said
I was like, this is the second episode. I feel like I've watched... Between the first 2 episodes, I feel like I've watched half of a show.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like just for a reference of a show that's like relative to the same time period, I feel like we've already watched the first 12 episodes of Full Metal Alchemist Brothers. Like, I feel like that's how far along we are already at this point.
Speaking on that, was that guy King Bradley? You say King Bradley?
I think his voice, the guy who was like leading the Interpol conference, it sounded like Bradley.
That'd be cool, because I've never once again, first anime, it'd be cool if, like, when we meet new characters, if they happen to be people we might have listened to.
Yeah.
Because I've never thought of that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So the episode picked off with him, a little recap of the first episode, but then him in school, being bored with,
class.
Immediately stands up and recite it, and I don't know if this is just a weird how the show depicts it, but I'm pretty sure it's like him reciting in English, like, perfectly, as a Japanese student.
In the first episode, they said, read this line in English. I think he read a verse from the Bible in the first episode and read it in English. Or the teacher asked specifically, hey, read this in English.
They said his English is really good.
For some reason, when there's moments like that, I really do wish they did, like, the Viking show approach. Like, remember in Vikings, whenever Ragnar would get to a new region and like find an Englishman,
yes,
it would immediately go to his native, and all of a sudden he's talking Norwegian,
yeah.
and you're like, what the hell? And then it's just showing that that's how it sounds to the English speaker.
Yeah.
So I kind of, in that moment, I wish like the teacher was like, it was all a scene in Japanese, and then it just does the English, and it goes back to just our English translation.
Yeah, I guess depending on how often you do it in the show,
Yeah.
because I feel like Vikings, I don't know of a show that does that outside of Vikings.
No, that was like the only show that.
Yeah, that's like that's a rare occurrence, and I can see why some people think it's dumb or don't like it or it might be confusing. But I agree with you. I think it's really helpful where you're like, when you're amongst. The only thing about that is that in this situation,
yeah, it's
it would be so random to have it like if he was going to a foreign classroom and they were like, you know, hey, talk in English for us, and he's like, okay, and then, you know, switches from Japanese to English, you know. That would be one thing if it was like there was more of a reason for him to be talking in a different language rather than just like a one-off. But
yeah,
I got you.
I just remember thinking it was goofy because the teachers were like, well done. And,
you read it good.
But it's like, there didn't seem like there was any transition. He just read it like a normal student off a book. But
in the sub, does he actually read it in English, do you know?
No, I don't remember. I don't know.
I'd be curious if they do that where he actually reads it in English or not.
My watch through of the sub was not as like kind of more just like when I look at the TV. Like I was pretty focused when I watched a dub, but I kind of was more lenient to like look away and like look at the moments that I liked when it came to the sub. So I don't remember. And then we got our first like he has a new job.
Yeah,
he has a full-time job.
Yeah, he decided he went home and was talking with Ryuk and basically said that he needs to, you know, crank out as many kills as he can because he needs to have a certain amount of study time to maintain his grades in school and maintain his status and his sleep, which is just so funny because it's like in reality, like you could have that book for. I know he wants to become like the god of this world, but like he could do that over the course of 10 years. Like he doesn't really need to do it all right now.
He wants it,
but he wants it.
He's
now.
ambitious. If we
give
him something positive, almost.
Oh yeah.
If he would use his ambition for something else, but of course he's killing people. He is a very ambitious person, and he is a go-getter. I will give him that.
Yeah, but and then his sister comes in the room, says she needs help with math. And Ryuk immediately then drops, hey, don't let her touch that, by the way, because if she does, she will then see me. So she is then bound to, you know, finding out about what our boy Light has been up to. I also like the name Kira. I think that's cool.
Killer.
Yeah.
Killer.
So
I was wondering when that would like appear. I couldn't remember how like early into the show it was, but I guess episode 2, yeah.
But so then Light decided that he was going to. He went to like an abandoned building to. I guess that's where he was making the false bottom,
testing it out.
Yeah. So he was testing out like.
I thought he was gonna. Yeah, I thought he was gonna burn the book. Like
yeah. But so he was basically testing his little trap that he made where he hid the death note in his desk with a false bottom with a diary on top of it. And basically the only way to get to it is if you use a pen to push up the bottom. But if you try and force it out or you remove the pen, it will start an ignition, which will light a mini bomb that will destroy the
gasoline trap.
Yeah.
Bro.
Man has napalm in his bedroom.
I mean,
super clever.
It's funny.
Psychotic.
It's funny too because he is so well thought out in what he's doing, but he is so egotistical. Like I've watched a lot of I've seen a lot of Law and Order and CIS, you know, a bunch of any of those kind of shows. I've generally watched most of them, and I'm a big fan of a lot of the iterations of Sherlock series, specifically that Benedict Cumberbatch one's really good, and Batman's my favorite superhero, and the older
the detective.
Yeah, and the older Batman stuff, he is more detective. Or if you've seen the most recent Robert Pattinson movie, he's very detective-like in that, which is how he's supposed to be. Instead of the Dark Knight version, where he just broods and
then goes and beats up a bunch of homeless people, and then goes and broods more.
Yeah, But anyway, so I like the detective stuff, and that's usually how they catch serial killers, like in a lot of those things, where it's like they become like so because they a lot of times they like almost like play into a god complex, where it's like if you start to attack their ego, like just like Elle was doing, like the way he sat there, like and like was like smiling and like egging him on to be like, oh, like, you know, man, like we're gonna find you, like I know you're out there, Kira. But like this, you know, and immediately it triggered Light into being like, "Oh, you think you're so smart, man? I'm gonna take you out right now." And
he immediately goes, "Oh, this is a competition, huh?"
Yeah, and he like it's like he played his he pulled his card so fast, without hesitation. I mean, I know Al says, "Man, I didn't think it would work that easily," but like he even references too. It's like you've only been killing for a little bit, so like you're not a pro at this yet, really.
Yeah, I like
so cool.
the talk, the general consensus of people that we've seen already in the episodes of like what people's perception is of what's going down here. Not specifically the police group that we'll get to, but like the common opinion of, I guess we're seeing mostly Japan's outlook on it. The random citizens, you're seeing people like sweating, like texting, like
they're afraid.
Don't be texting anything like this anymore, or like whatever, or people are like, yeah, I love this.
Dude, he has like a cult of personality already.
Yeah.
Like he has an internet forum where people like
are worshiping like what he's doing.
And there's were they like sending him like news like screenshots and stuff to like get this person.
Well,
that's what I thought.
There was a website that was made,
yeah,
and they were calling the killer Kira, and they were being like, "Hey, like this guy's a bad person. You should do this to them too." Like, and that's how he was kind of checking like the pulse of like what's going on. But he even said like, you know, oh, the people know that something is shifting in the world, but like the police aren't even onto it yet, other than Elle, of course.
Yeah, man. I remember just. I remember watching this, and at the same time, that was like when those YouTube videos of like, remember when Anonymous was like a very big thing, like the idea of like the Anonymous and the V for Vendetta mask. I remember watching like a series, and it would just have like gameplay footage over the top, and it was this guy that would go and like people would send an info to them about like somebody cheating, blah blah blah, and he would just take justice out on them and like call their number, like their IP, and like post up videos about it. People would just love it and just send in free content for him to market off the idea of like exposing people. But it just made me think of like, and the episode talked about it too, just the idea of like when somebody goes outside the law, how you'll see the world like divide on its opinions of like, it's outside the law, shouldn't be a thing, like this is wrong. Exposure of privacy, or like killing people when killing is killing, and then you have the other contrast where it's like, well, I don't really care, like at the end of the day, this person's done this thing, I want justice on them, because if they die, justice will be enacted eventually, might as well do it now. So.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that was like an interesting thing, too, that, like, Light brought up of, like, you know, if you were in a classroom and today, and you ask kids, or people in general, hey, do you think it's right to kill this person who's done wrong, or a bad person? And most people are like, no, killing is killing, and it's wrong. But, like, there are instances where someone who, if there's a scenario in which that someone can express their opinion without anyone knowing, they're going to say like, yeah, I think killing people is okay. I think nowadays, in like today's climate, people are more willing to say that. You know what I mean? Like people are saying like, and I'm not saying I disagree with this because I kind of agree in some instances, but they're like, oh, like rapists, castrate them and kill them. You know what I mean, or whatever. And I'm like, kind of down for that, you know. But like, and of course you can bring the one-off instances, like for someone. Like, to me, to even have that argument with another person, like, I think that 99% of people would probably say if you're given, like, Hitler or people of, like, that caliber that have done bad in the world, like, they'd be like, oh, like, let me kill him. Like, I'd do it. You know what I mean? Like, without needing, like, the jury and the judge to do the whole pre-part. Like, they'd be like, oh, it's cool because this guy was a really bad person. Like, I feel like most people would move on that line. But the interesting thing about that is just like, where do you define the bad? Like, what is bad that's worth killing?
That's like, where the fine line is like, is somebody that stole from you like 100,000 and like punched your wife in the face, and you might have a personal connection to that and really not like the person, but like all of a sudden, if law is not in the question, you might go enact justice on him in like the sidewalk that no one can see. Yeah, you might think that's right, but like,
it could also be wrong, but it just depends on like who and where is drawing that line at some point. It's interesting to see like where people place themselves in that world. It's also interesting how just like I don't know when Death Note was written, but you know the show came out like came out mid 2000s, right?
Let's see.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No reason.
Bro, if I have a heart attack, I will come back and I will kill you specifically in a video game.
The series ran from December 1st, 2003 to 2006.
So even in like 20 years, how much like that, at least that sentiment has changed to an extent. I'm sure there's going to be people that comment on this video and be like, no, I still think most people think that killing people across the board is generally a bad thing. Yeah. But I feel like there are more people just like, you know, that are more willing to enact more serious forms of violence. Yeah. Not saying I'm advocating for that, but I could see that more people are okay with that in this day and age, and it's all Death Note's fault.
Will loves vigilantes.
I agree with you. I feel like if I had to like take an opinion piece of like today, I feel like people are a little bit more comfortable now on the internet giving like. I mean, people are definitely comfortable.
People are way too. Take one look at like Twitter or Reddit. People are way too comfortable on the internet.
If I had to take a guess, I feel like it would be like at least 70% Kira, 30% someone like L.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but like I feel like people would be more to see something entertaining go down than like a narc come to like stop things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Speaking of, sorry, go ahead.
You're good. I'll say it.
I have something.
I was gonna go like way off. So
okay, go ahead.
I just have a question that I may pose multiple times through this. Okay. Since it seems like we're gonna have two sides battling or whatever. Mm-hmm. You got L, you got Light. So like, you guys know like the spectrum of like good and evil, like lawful good, lawful evil, chaotic good, chaotic evil. Yeah. All right. So as of right now, where on that spectrum do you think these two like line up?
I am way too biased. I can't.
Okay, never mind.
Sorry.
Okay,
at this very moment, you don't have to say like Endgame because you've already seen almost all of this.
I still don't think I can like do it.
I will say, in fairness, I don't think I know enough about L to make any type of assumption on like where his like moral compass is for the most part.
Okay, well, I'll pose the question later on again.
Yeah, no, I think.
Well, can I ask you then? Because I want to know.
Well, at the moment, I think Light at the very moment is still on the lawful side, but on the evil, like the middling to evil side, because he is killing people who are currently like, if they're in jail, they're being judged by like the actual justice system and not his own like morality or whatever goes on in his head. Yeah. And it seems like right now L is going to be like lawful good unless he starts like stooping to Light's level of like getting darker and darker just to like track him down.
So what's the ranking again? It's lawful good to evil.
Lawful good. I don't remember what the middle one is.
It's fine.
Neutral.
That's fine. Lawful and then
lawful, neutral, and then good.
No. No, I know. Evil, neutral, good. I'm saying the other category. It's lawful, chaotic, and what?
I forget.
Fuck.
It's another neutral type word. It's just my favorite discussion to have about like character motivations or morality. So sorry if this derails.
No. It's fine. I like it.
This is good.
Yeah. It's more so. I just want to figure out.
I also want to pull something from Sam.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just will not give me.
I don't think I can fairly say without bias. If I'm being honest,
dang it.
It's law. Starting at the top: lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good, lawful neutral, true neutral, chaotic neutral, lawful evil, neutral evil, chaotic evil. So it's going from lawful.
Can I just see it?
Yeah, for sure. I'll throw up the chart for you guys.
Throw up this cool chart. I love this.
Okay, so it's lawful, neutral, chaotic.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally feel like he's starting to go from lawful evil to the neutral evil because he just went and killed a detective. Like initially, he was just killing people that had done heinous crimes, and that would be one thing. But then he immediately, like, at the first at the first moment where someone stepped to the plate, as soon as someone challenged his authority, ego, and like God complex, he immediately went to strike down whoever. Which I'm like, to me, he's gonna end up being a chaotic evil. Like, there's no way around it.
He's dropping straight down.
Like, because eventually he's gonna run out of. You know, he has this ideology of making this like the perfect world, where he is purging the world of all evil things, and eventually you're going to run out of the major evil things. Like, if people are scared to do this, they're not going to want to run outside and start killing people. And you're going to start killing people that are going to start doing minor things like, you know, assaulting someone or stealing. And then you're going to start killing people who, in your mind, you deem are lying or being like, or cheating or stuff like that. And it's just going to become so bad to the point where you're going to be killing everybody except for people that are like, almost like, religiously dedicated to whatever you believe in or your
worshippers
ideology
of you point. Because your word is gospel, so they are worshiping what you're doing.
And that's the scary part of the cult nature of what is happening now, where people are like, oh, this guy's a bad guy too. Because then what if he starts to feed into more of like not his worldview, but the fact of like pulling more followers in, and he's just like adhering to Caleb said that this guy's a bad guy and he hurt his mom one time, then I'm going to go kill that person. And then the next person's like, oh, well, this guy stole from me and I wasn't able to pay my rent next month. And then they murdered that person. You know what I mean? It's just it's gonna divulge into like wildness. Even if he keeps his personal moral compass and his code of ethics on how he's handling this situation. Which clearly he's already low-key thrown out because he was willing to kill a detective who wasn't doing anything but challenging him.
Literally, he became the great dictator in that moment. It's like lawful in what his mind was, perhaps killing people that would one day find themselves on a death row, to then stooping a little lower and being like, I'll kill criminals that are at least worldwide known, to straight up, oh, you disagree with me, and who I am, you're dead.
Yeah,
basically is what it came down to. Very, very quick shift, to be fair.
It wasn't long at all.
It was a moment of challenge, and he goes, "Oh shit, kill."
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you know, I can tell the story's going to be good so far, and it's only 2 episodes in, so I'm not going to say, "Oh, the show's amazing already."
Wow.
But that I can already foresee that will be his downfall, whether it is by L or some other form that he loses, will be his God complex. His ego will be the thing that tears him down, you know?
Yeah.
The hubris of him and his ideology will turn him to the ground. He will be in the dirt by doing this, so.
It's a wild show, that's for sure.
Yeah. Also, Detective Yagami, Yagami.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
I mean, he's related to him, or he's his dad or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's also, I don't know, like, how like you can have a Smith and it's a very common, prominent name, but I don't know how it works in Japan.
Yeah.
And then relative. Okay, if it's a relative, like where are you placing it? Uncle, father, relative.
I feel like I'll say uncle, father, because we haven't seen the father at home at all. He hasn't mentioned him, but he specifically mentioned that he needed to keep up schoolwork so he can eventually become a detective.
Yeah.
That's what Light said. So I'd assume there is at least some form of relation to him, because he's striving to do like a similar type of job as that guy. Mm-hmm. If it's completely coincidence, then that's really dumb. Like, as a writer, you can't write someone with the same last name.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You can't have like a show and be like, yeah, this is Don Smith. This is also Don Smith. Yeah. They're two different characters, but
this is Aegon Targaryen. This is also Jon Targaryen. Okay, cool. They're not related at all, man.
Not the same. You have to refer to them as the same name, though.
I think names will play a fun role in this show, too, just because of the fact of the name has a lot
the importance of, for
the
sure.
name and what you're thinking of a person as well. Because I think they said one of the rules is, like, if I write down Brad Pitt, but I'm meaning to kill my Brad Pitt neighbor, I could accidentally kill the man who acted in Troy and whatever, and accidentally kill that guy.
Yeah.
And we also met a character very briefly. He got a quick name drop. Watari is the man that steps up to say L is on the case.
So Mr. Inspector Gadget. The guy who knows
the big hat.
It's
a big hat man.
Yeah. Inspector Gadget showed up in silhouettes and was like, oh yeah, sorry, he's already been on the case long before you guys. We should start something now. Trying to think if there was anything else. don't think so. Also, I just love the fact that how like beautiful Light looks until he is challenged, and all of a sudden hair flops over.
Oh, yeah.
He's all like hunched and like a monstrous form.
He
all
like,
of a sudden emerges.
He reverts. The battery's about to die, but he reverts to like his real nature.
Yeah.
I'll say one more thing before we end it because it's almost an hour now.
Yeah.
But if the camera cuts out, it's not the end of the world. I love the editing. I meant to say this last episode, but like the paneling over where it's like it's looking at Light's face, but it's also looking at his handwriting, like the two separate boxes where it's black on multiple edges. I fucking love that. It's so cool. And the battery died.
Let me get the battery.
Yeah.
I think the battery died.
Just talking about the editing for the final note.
Oh yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the editing. I really liked the. I really like it. I like the. I don't know. It just feels. It reminds you of something, and I can't put my tongue on it. Maybe the next video I'll say, but like having his head in one spot and then like the black borders, and then having him writing, or like as he's talking, and it like it transitions almost to like not the beat of the music, but or it kind of like transitions with the rhythm of the music, and then like flows like Ryuk just staring at him, and then like like maybe the back of his head while he's working. Like it's just cool. I really enjoy like that.
They do the whole like
function to it.
They do the whole like manga panel.
It's almost like a manga panel or a comic panel.
Straight from it. You also wanted to mention the eyes. You said something about Light's eyes.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice it as much in this episode, but I swear in the first episode his eyes change red in the episode at certain moments when he has the Death Note. I didn't really notice it as much in this, so I don't know if I'm just it's just the me being colorblind. I don't know, but it looked like his eyes changed red in that instance.
I don't think that's not the colorblind issue. I think we all saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, if we all saw it, I just don't understand why it didn't happen in this episode. Like, it seemed to happen when in last episode when he was doing shit with the Death Note, or when he got his God Complex mode. But he did it today, and it didn't. His eyes didn't change red. So
yeah. Well, we can keep an eye on that, but I think that's it for this episode.
Yep.
You all good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys, make sure you leave a like on it. We appreciate the support already. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you stay tuned for more of Death Note or any other things we're having right now at the moment. Check out the Patreon as well if you want to get early access to this. And for the time being, we will see you in episode 3. Punch it!
Bah.